Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Thulo Hoyane. So the truth has come to the fore now. Remember yesterday we had that narrative about Baloyi's life being threatened and all those unexplained security concerns. And you see, this source was not just another source. We had that came from the South African Police Service itself. But this morning, everything just turned around and the whole thing is so different now. It all started with Advocate George Baloyi explaining to the court this morning that there had been some security concerns yesterday, which security concerns he never elaborated upon, and told the Pretoria High Court that those security concerns had been addressed. That is how Baloyi put it. He simply did not go into any great detail. He simply indicated that there were those security concerns that necessitated yesterday's adjournment and that those matters had been dealt with and the necessary security measures had been put in place. But listen to this. No sooner had he done that, Advocate Mnisi then stood up. And Mnisi, in typical Mnisi style, he went straight to the point. Mnisi said that the security concerns that were being talked about were in this manner, or took the following form. Mnisi told the Pretoria High Court that yesterday's developments resulted in the police escorting some people out of the Pretoria High Court, allegedly because these were people who were, intending to harm some of the court officials, namely Baloyi himself, because mention was made of the state. So Mnisi went on to tell the court that developments have moved a step further because now there are these concerns from the police that the defense counsels, and Mnisi was telling the court this, and this came from a police officer, that there are concerns from the police that some of the people that the police ought to have apprehended yesterday got wind or had information prior to the police arriving at the Pretoria High Court. And they had been, tipped off by the defense counsels, underline that the defense counsels had tipped them off of the impending arrival of the police. That is why the police never found them there. In effect, what is now the narrative is that the defense is acting in cahoots or hand in glove with those people who want to eliminate or kill the prosecution or harm them in one way or another. So Mnisi went on to say that this policeman also told him that there is talk that Mnisi is in the habit of involving himself in things which are none of his business. That is how he put it. So it was now left to the court to make a decision going forward, because Advocate Mnisi had told the court that no, this information is so serious and it has, affected him both psychologically and perhaps physically, and that he was not in a position to proceed with the trial as things stand, because he was concerned that those security issues around him especially, because he's now a suspect. In fact, he told the Pretoria High Court that how can a suspect represent a suspect? I am myself being treated as a suspect, and I am also representing people here who are supposed to be working hand in glove with those who want to head the state. So that is how it panned out in the Pretoria High Court this morning. Judge Ratha then had to make a decision. And it was a lamentable decision because I thought that Judge Ratta just treated Mnisi's consent so flippantly and said if Mnisi has got problems, wants to see a psychologist or psychiatrist, or even a traditional healer, you know. So Judge Ratta was not interested to have the matter postponed, like Mnisi has requested, pending the investigation of this matter, so that Mnisi can sort of be at ease. It was at that stage that Mnisi just had to face up to him and told him that, no, now I'm being forced to proceed with this matter. And there were those usual exchanges that he has always had with Judge Ratta, and Judge Ratta retorted that, no, who's forcing you? I'm not forcing you. But it was in effect to force him. So at the end of the day, Judge Ratta postponed the matter to tomorrow. I wonder whether the security concerns that Mnisi has will be ironed out as soon as tomorrow, because these are very serious allegations and they have to be investigated thoroughly, because the narrative, like I said earlier in my opener, is that now the defense, some of the defense counsels, Mnisi and Nxumalo to be specific, are acting in cahoots with people who actually want to kill members of the prosecution. How interesting and yet how shocking now this narrative, in the space of less than 24 hours, has shifted away from Baloyi. Remember, the information that we had yesterday was that, Baloyi's life was under threat. Now it is Mnisi facing those threats because an investigation is underway. And to put it bluntly, Mnisi and perhaps Advocate Nxumalo too are the subject of that investigation, because the police are alleging that they were complicit in the disappearance of these other people who are suspects, who are acting supposedly, in tandem or in cahoots with the accused persons. So there we have it now. The narrative has shifted. It is now Mnisi and the defense who are the focus of this, because allegedly they are acting unlawfully, if this narrative can be believed, to harm court officials, to be specific, the state. So this is the situation as it stands this afternoon and evening. In the follow-up edition of the Daily Fix, I'll bring you more analysis before the court resumes its sittings tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So stay close to the Daily Fix, get the best news analysis and the most unique news analysis. What we discuss here is unique to the Daily Fix. You'll never get it anywhere, mainstream or social media. Having said that, let me thank you for watching this video. Let me thank you for all the likes, shares, and subscriptions that I'm seeing. Thank you very much.